was 1829. The sleepy town of Newcastle, Massachusetts, was bearing the brunt of a particularly harsh winter snowstorm. Mary Brown had just turned sweet 16 and was sitting down for a humble supper with her family, thanking the good Lord for sparing their house in this harsh weather and providing them with enough food. All were in a festive mood. Then the unexplainable happened. Before Mary even took her first bite, her entire body went into violent convulsions. She started choking. Her parents tried to save her, but to no avail. Mary was dead within minutes. 6 weeks to the day after Mary's mysterious death, the Browns awoke early in the morning to loud knocks on their door. It was Mary's best friend, Sarah. In a panic, she told the couple that she'd just seen Mary floating down Main Street, her toes inches from the ground. Mary's ghost was smiling and laughing, said Sarah, as it aimlessly roamed about town. In the following days, many similar stories were heard around Newcastle. The Browns, who had rapidly aged from their grief and misery, soon became very ill, and both died just a single day apart. The Brown extended family, 21 of them, were a mainstay in Newcastle, simple farmers who've lived there since the inception of the town. Over the following year, they had all mysteriously started getting very ill. Then, one after the other, all of them, with the exception of Peter, a distant cousin, had died. Without exception, all the bodies had horrible teeth marks on their necks, though no blood was apparent. The townspeople knew that the spirit of Mary, still roaming about, was involved. Rumor had it that some members of the Brown family awoke in the middle of the night to see Mary standing over their beds, grinning down at them before throttling their necks in a death grip and sucking for blood. The people of Newcastle were at a loss. Jeremiah Buckner, the notorious witch hunter and vampire expert from Salem, the next town over, was summoned in a last-ditch effort to end the horror. After meeting with the town elders, he set up a rendezvous for the following week, on the very day Mary had died 1 year earlier. The day had arrived. The clock struck midnight. Jeremiah, the elders, and Peter, now horribly ill, all gathered at the town cemetery gate. Peter could barely hold up his frail body. Everyone was expecting him to die within days, as the violent and horrifying pattern of the Browns indicated. The ritual they were about to perform that night was not for the faint of heart. As they arrived at Mary's grave, they started slowly digging until the coffin was unraveled. The elders were not prepared for what they would see next. Opening the coffin, they found Mary looking much like before she had died. Her flesh was pink and full of life, her hair and fingernails grown, and her lips were full and red. Jeremiah then poked her chest with his pocket knife. Mary bled. This was not by any stretch of the imagination an ordinary dead body. Jeremiah then proceeded to cut open her skin, reached in, and pulled out her bloody heart. Just at that moment, Peter gasped in relief. His body felt rejuvenated. It seemed his mysterious illness had all but disappeared in a matter of seconds. From that moment on, the sightings of Mary completely vanished. Peter, his health regained, would soon marry and have 3 children. The Brown family bloodline was once again revived. Though the town of Newcastle was now back to normal, to this day, its residents claim to see the ghosts of the dead Browns floating about with blank stares in their eyes.
Although every word of this story is as true as despair, I do not expect people to believe it. Nowadays, a rational explanation is required before belief is possible. Let me at once then offer the rational explanation. It is held that Harry and Laura Innes were under a delusion on that 31st of October, and that this supposition places the whole matter on a satisfactory and believable basis. But there were 3 who took part in the events of the 31st. The other man still lives, and can speak to the truth of the least credible part of Harry's story. October the 31st. It began like any other last day of the month, and progressed into terror as it moved beyond midnight.
I never in my life knew what it was like to have enough money to satisfy the most ordinary needs. I used to paint in those days, and Laura used to write, and we felt sure we could keep the pot at least simmering. Living in town was out of the question, so we went to look for a cottage in the country. We wanted something that was both sanitary and picturesque. So rarely do these 2 qualities meet in one cottage that for a long time our search was fruitless. We were lucky in the end, though. 2 days before our honeymoon started, we discovered the ideal thing on the outskirts of the village of Brenzett, near the marshes. We got a tall, old village woman called Mrs. Dorman to do for us, and as the cottage slowly became habitable, we began to devote more of our time to earning a living. Laura began to sell her stories, and I really felt the atmosphere was helping my painting. We had 3 months of married happiness. One October evening, I'd been down to smoke a pipe with the village doctor. Laura had stayed at home to finish a comic sketch for a woman's magazine. I'd left her laughing over her own jokes. I came back to find her crying on the window seat in the light of the dying day. What's the matter? Darling, what is it? Please, darling.
It's Mrs. Dorman.
What? What's she done?
She says she's got to go before the end of the month. She says her niece is ill. She's gone down to see her now, but I don't believe that's the reason. Her niece is always ill. I think someone's been saying something against us. She was acting so queerly.
Oh, come on, darling, never mind, it's all right. Don't cry.
But don't you see it's serious? We'll have to work all day. We'll only be able to rest while we're waiting for the kettle to boil. We won't have time to earn any money.
Listen. There'll be plenty of time, even if we do have to... Laura, listen to me. I'll speak to Mrs. Dorman when she comes back and see if I can't make her change her mind. She probably wants more money or something. It'll be all right, you see. Oh, come on, love. It's a beautiful evening, not dark yet. Let's take a walk up to the church, Come on, darling, fetch your coat.
I don't need a coat. It's not cold out. Harry, I will learn to cook soon. But...
Oh, don't worry. We walked under the yew trees up to the little old church. The path was called the Bier Walk, because years before it had been the way by which the corpses had been carried to burial. I didn't tell Laura this, though. She was impressionable. The church was Norman and was only used on Sundays. On either side of the altar lay a grey marble figure of a knight in full plate armour, lying upon a low slab, with hands held up in everlasting prayer. Their names were lost, but the villagers said they'd been murderers, marauders by land and sea. They'd been guilty of deeds so foul that the house they had lived in, the big house, by the way, that had stood on the site of our cottage, had been stricken by lightning and the vengeance of heaven. I didn't tell Laura this either. She wasn't so engrossed in folklore as I was. We walked to the chancel, looked for a while at the sleeping warriors, and then slowly made our way home. Mrs. Dorman had come back from the village, and so as soon as Laura had gone to our bedroom, I went into the kitchen to square things up with our servant. Well, can't you stay for another month?
No, sir. I'm bound to go by Thursday.
Yeah, but it's Monday today. I mean, I think you might have let us know before. There's no time now to get anybody else. And my wife's not up to too much heavy work. Can't you stay till next week?
I might be able to come back next week.
Good, but why do you have to go this week? Come on, out with it.
It's cold, sir. They say, sir, that this was a big house in Catholic times, and there was many deeds done here.
Well, tell me about it, Mrs. Dorman. Well, you needn't mind about telling me. I won't make fun or anything. Would you like to sit down?
No, sir, thank you.
Well?
Well, sir, you may have seen in the church, beside the altar, two shapes.
The knights in armour. Effigies.
I mean them two bodies, drawed out, man-size in marble.
Man-size in marble. I thought then that her description was 1,000 times more graphic than mine.
They do say that on All Saints' Eve, them two bodies sit up on their slabs and gets off them, and then walks down the aisle in their marble. And as the church clock strikes 11, they walks out of the church door and over the graves and along the bier walk. And if it's a wet night, there's the marks of their feet in the morning.
And where do they go?
They come back here to their home, sir. And if anyone meets them...
Well, what then?
I'm sorry, I've got to go, sir. But my niece, she's sick. I've got to go.
It's all right, Mrs. Dorman. Hey, if you promise to come back afterwards again, we don't want to lose you. What of the knights, the legend, after they've arrived here, what are they supposed to do then?
Whatever you do, sir, lock the door early on All Saints' Eve. And make the cross sign over the doorstep and on the windows.
But has anyone ever seen these things?
That's not for me to say. I know what I know, sir.
Well, who was here last year at the cottage?
No one, sir. The lady has owned the house, only stayed here in summer, and she always went to London a full month before the night. All Saints. I'm sorry to inconvenience you and your lady, but my niece is ill and I must go on Thursday.
I didn't tell Laura of the shapes that walked in their marble, partly because a legend concerning our house might trouble her, and partly, I think, from some more occult reason. I soon forgot about it myself anyway. I was painting a portrait of Laura against the lattice window, and I couldn't think of much else.
There. Steak, potatoes. Oh, tell me I'm learning fast. Say it's as good as Mrs. Dorman, even if it isn't.
It looks beautiful.
Oh, the painting's coming along marvellously, darling. There's only one thing.
Oh, this is better than Mrs. Dorman. What's that?
Don't believe you. Harry, it's a lovely painting, but You've made me really beautiful.
Well, you are beautiful.
I love you.
Well, if you love me, get your elbow out of my dinner. Thursday passed off pretty well. Actually, the steak was like boots, and the potatoes were hardly cooked at all. But I loved her. I loved my darling. Friday came, and it's about what happened that Friday that I'm telling you now. I'll tell my story of it as quickly as I can. Everything that happened that day is burnt into my brain. I shall not forget anything, not leave anything out. You look sad, my darling.
Yes, I think I am. Oh, uneasy. I didn't think I'm very well. It's not cold, is it?
What's the matter? No, not cold.
I've shivered lots of times this morning. Do you ever have presentiments of evil?
No, I shouldn't believe in them if I had.
I do. The night my father died, I knew it. He was right away in the north of Scotland. But I knew. Harry! We haven't played the gramophone since we've been here. Oh, let's play it now. What shall we have?
She sorted through our record collection, and she looked like a small child. I loved her then, that morning, more dearly than I've ever loved anyone in the whole of my life. It was the happiest time I've ever known, or hoped to know. The birds sang in the garden of our own home. The autumn was proving to be a mild one, and my Laura seemed gayer than ever she had been, despite her admittance to me that she thought she was not well. The music was beautiful. Laura was chatting away, and as I looked out through the windows at the mass of autumn colouring, the deep scarlet clouds slowly paled into leaden grey against a pale green sky. It was Friday, and Mrs. Dorman had gone off to look after a niece she swore was sick the day before, Thursday. I listened to the music and watched the graceful curve of my Laura's cheek. And it saddens me now, in retrospect, to remember that that day was the last time our now dusty gramophone records ever saw the light of day.
There must be millions of them in those marshes. The frogs. Harry, shall we get a little dog?
If you like.
Maybe not such a little one either. Let's have a Great Dane.
Great Dane?
Yes, so that everyone will be frightened and keep away.
Well, who do you want to keep away, for pity's sake?
People who shouldn't be here. Oh, I don't know. Burglars and things.
Well, I think any self-respecting burglar looking around this place would go away in disgust. Well, we might have something worth stealing one day, but not at the moment, my lovely. Anyway, Great Danes are awful cowards.
Oh, they're not. They're huge.
Sure they are. All feet and great lolloping head. All bluff, though. Pekingese would be more likely to create a din and scare away unwanted visitors.
Anyway, shall we get a dog? Not a Dane, then. A little mongrel or something. With one eye black and one eye brown. Call it Wag or Patch.
A dog called Wag or Patch shall be delivered here by the end of the week.
Oh,
I promise.
Wonderful. I'd love a canary, too.
Well, then a canary you'll have, my darling. I'll give you anything in the world within my power. You know that.
I used to have a tortoise when I was a girl.
Are you trying to turn the place into a zoo? Oh, is my pipe bothering you?
No, of course not. What's the time?
10:30. All the same, I think I'll take the last of it outside for a bit.
Last of what?
My pipe. Brutal to sit in here, filling the place with strong Cavendish.
Oh, I don't mind. I'll come with you.
No, sweetheart, not tonight. You're much too tired. Shall be long. You were shivering this morning.
I'm all right now, honestly.
Get to bed. I'll have an invalid to nurse tomorrow, as well as the boots to clean.
Kiss me then.
Go on, pussy. You're tired. Housework's been too much for you.
Harry. Oh, Harry.
Oh, Laura, my sweet love. I'll not be long out there. Just...
Taste of strong Cavendish. I'm a bit tired.
Yes, I know.
We've been very happy today, haven't we, darling? Don't stay out too long.
I won't. What a night it was. The jagged masses of heavy dark cloud were rolling at intervals from horizon to horizon, and thin white wreaths covered the stars. Through all the rush of the cloud river, the moon swam, breasting the waves and disappearing again in darkness. I could see the church tower standing out black and grey against the sky. 11 o'clock already. My pipe was out. I looked in at the bedroom window and saw Laura half lying on her chair in front of her dressing table. My heart went out to her. I decided to take a walk up to the church. So, with a last look at my dearest wife, I left our cottage and began my walk. There must be a God, I thought to myself, and a God who was good. How otherwise could anything as sweet as Laura ever have been imagined? When I reached the church, I noticed the door was open. I blamed myself for leaving it unlatched the other night. We were the only people who ever cared to come to the church, except on Sundays. I went inside. It seems strange, perhaps, that I should have gone halfway up the aisle before I remembered, with a sudden chill, followed by as sudden a rush of self-contempt, that this was the very day and hour when, according to tradition, the shapes drawed out man-size in marble began to walk. Having remembered the legend, I decided to go and have a look at the marble knights. I thought how pleasant it would be to tell Mrs. Dorman how ridiculous her fancies were, and how peacefully the marble figures slept on through the ghastly hour. With my hands in my pockets, I passed up the aisle. In the grey, dim light, the eastern end of the church looked larger than usual, and the arches above the two tombs looked larger too. And then the moon came out and showed me the reason. I stopped short and my heart gave a leap that nearly choked me. The bodies were gone! The marble slabs lay wide and bare in the moonlight that slanted through the east window. Was I mad? I passed my hand over the smooth slabs. Some joke. The figures were gone, and I was alone in the church. Or was I? And then a horror seized me, a horror indefinable and indescribable, an overwhelming certainty of supreme and accomplished calamity. Laura! Laura! Get out of my way!
Hey, what are you... Hurry!
Yeah, let go! Let go! The marble figures have gone from the church. They've gone.
Oh, I'll have to give you a draft tomorrow, I see. You've been listening to old wives' tales.
I've seen the bare slabs, man. Let go!
Now, hurry, man. Listen to me, will you? Now, listen.
Are you... You get me scared, Doctor.
I'm going to old Palmer's place. His daughter's sick. I'll go by way of the church. Show me the bare slabs.
Well, you go if you like. I'm going home to my wife. Look, will you let go my arm?
Oh, rubbish, man. Do you think I'll permit that? Are you to go saying all your life that you've seen marble endowed with vitality? And me to go home me life saying you're a coward? No, sir, you shan't do it. Now, come on. Come on now. I'll prove to you you were dreaming.
We went back to that terrible church and walked up the aisle. Walked to the marble slabs. The doctor produced matches. I admit I closed my eyes. I knew the figures would not be there.
Here they are. You see, right enough. You've been dreaming. Or drinking. Asking your pardon for the imputation, eh?
I opened my eyes and looked, and by the dying matchlight I saw the two shapes in marble, hands in prayer.
Blast! I burnt my fingers. Oh, no. Blasphemy in a church. Still, it wasn't meant. So, satisfied, Harry?
Oh, it must have been some trick of the light or something. Do you know, I was quite convinced they were gone.
Oh, I'm aware of that. You'll have to be careful of that brain of yours, my friend. Now, I'm warning you.
Huh?
Hello? Oh, something has been afoot here. His hand is broken.
What?
Well, no, it's hand. See, it's broken. Well, maybe somebody tried to remove them.
They were both all right last time Laura and I came here.
Well, someone might have tried to prise them up.
That wouldn't account for my impression.
Too much painting and tobacco, and maybe indulgence in some of the hard stuff too, perhaps.
Never. Oh, look, come on, man. My wife will be getting anxious. Oh, you come in and have a drop of whiskey with me and drink Confusion the Ghosts and better sense to me, won't you?
I ought to go to Palmer's, but... well, it's late. I'll leave it till tomorrow. She's not all that sick.
Oh, let's go back then.
Aye. You're getting along fine in the cottages then, Harry.
Oh, we're making do. Had a bit of a servant problem.
Who doesn't have servant troubles? You're not alone there, Harry. Ever since the day I came to the place, servants have driven me mad.
We walked to our cottage. We saw, as we walked up the path, the bright light streaming out of the front door. Presently I noticed the parlour door was open too. Had she gone out, I wondered? We passed into the parlour. It was all ablaze with candles. Her chair was empty, and her handkerchief and book lay on the floor. I turned to the window, and there, in the recess of the window, I saw her. Laura!
Good grief, man!
Laura, my baby, Laura. It's all right, my darling. I'm here.
There, out of the way!
Laura, it's all right, pussy. Please, baby, I'm here. She fell into my arms in a heap. I kissed her and held her. But I think I knew all the time that she was dead.
Please, what happened?
Her hands were tightly clenched.
I'm sorry.
In one of them, she held something fast. When I was quite sure that she was dead, and that nothing mattered at all anymore, I let the doctor open her hand to see what it was she held. It was a grey marble finger.
Never find it. In the snow, everything looks the same. Now it's getting dark. Is somebody there? Who is it? Where? I said, is somebody there? I know you're there. I can hear you. Who are you?
Are you?
Please don't do that. I'm lost, and I don't know what to do. I need help. Please don't play with me.
Play with me? Play with me?
Please, I'm really lost. You've got to believe me.
Hi. Sorry about that. Thought I'd have a little fun.
Some fun. Look, I'm lost. I don't know where I am.
Maybe I can help you. I know this area.
It's so cold. Look, I'm trying to find my friend's cottage. The Morans. Sheila Moran. Do you know her? It's got to be somewhere around here.
Morans? I'm afraid I never heard of them.
Great. I'm in the middle of nowhere. My car's way back there, stuck in a snowbank.
Well, I've never heard of your friends, and I've been around here a long time. I'm staying at my parents' place. It's only a cabin, but it isn't too far from here. Why don't you come with me? I can put you up till morning.
Oh, well, no, I couldn't do that.
You can't just keep wandering around here. It'll be dark soon.
Well, I don't like to impose on strangers.
I don't have to be a stranger.
Well, I wouldn't mind resting and getting warm.
What's stopping you?
Nothing. Are you sure you wouldn't mind?
Why should I mind? I asked you.
Okay. What else can I do?
You could try freezing.
Mister, you got yourself a deal. Let's go. Oh, by the way, I'm Sue.
My name's Barry. Barry Hefferman. Hello.
Do you always meet your girls like this?
Never. Can I take your bag?
Thanks. You are a lifesaver. I was beginning to get really worried.
Don't be frightened. You're here now. I'm glad I found you.
So am I. Things get really scary around here at night.
You know, it's a funny thing.
What?
I like the night best of all.
Is it? I'm not really into marathons.
About another half mile. Tired?
Yeah. Want to carry me?
Sure.
Oh, the Arnold Schwarzenegger type.
Our cottage is over there by the river, just before it curves into Georgian Bay. You can't see it yet for the trees.
Just keep me pointed in the right direction. Hey.
What is it?
Look. In the snow. Little footprints.
I see them.
A little kid? Here? And it's barefoot and alone in this cold?
You surprised to find deer around here? This is the country.
Oh, come off it.
Those are deer prints.
Really? Well, you say so, but they sure look like a kid's footprints to me.
We call them hooves.
Well, you're the country boy. I guess you'd know. But they don't look right.
home sweet home.
I couldn't go another step. What a quaint old place. It's really hidden away. I could never find it.
It's been in the family for a couple of generations.
It's so dark and deserted.
I didn't promise a palace. Well, come on in. The place won't bite you.
Okay. Hey, I can hardly see. No electricity, right? Barry? Well, can't we get some light?
In a minute.
There have to be candles or oil lamps.
I thought you knew, Sue. Civilization ended miles back.
Oh. It's dusty in here.
Yeah, I don't bother cleaning in the winter.
Well, it's got atmosphere.
Make yourself right at home.
What's that?
It's just an old rocking horse.
What's it doing moving like that?
Drafts. We opened the door, remember?
Heart attack time.
Sorry.
I guess I'm a little worked up.
Just relax. I want you to be comfortable.
Hey, there are toys all over. Everywhere.
It's from when we were kids.
Oh, this is beautiful. A music box.
Don't.
Well, I love these things. They always have pretty tunes.
That's enough.
Hey. Big boss time, eh?
I'm sorry, I don't like that tune.
Forget it. Oh, it's so cold in here. It's as bad as outside. How can you stand it?
Cold? Oh, I guess I let the fire die. I was out for a while. Come on. Let's make you a great blazing fire.
Well, it doesn't have to be a big production number, you know.
I thought you wanted some heat and light. Trick is getting the kindling started. Just a minute, and you'll be warm.
Well, let me do something. I'm not helpless.
Relax. It's all under control.
Suit yourself. Hey, would you like a sandwich? I got a couple here.
No, thanks. I had something before. It's too bad all girls aren't as friendly as you.
Really? I guess I'm the extrovert type. I've always liked people. Oh, and speaking of people, my friends must be worrying about me. I wish I could get in touch with them. I know you won't have a phone or anything, but is there any way...
Why worry about them? You'll see them tomorrow. I thought you weren't the helpless type.
It's funny, you know, this was going to be a quiet weekend retreat. No guys, just work.
There. Fire's gonna go now.
Oh, that's great. Well, you see, I got this essay to write for one of my psychology courses. I wanted a nice, quiet spot.
This is a nice, quiet spot. Why not work here? I can vanish.
Well, maybe. You must get real lonely up here on your own.
I don't notice it. And now you're here.
Fire is beautiful. What's that? Where?
Those logs burn for a long time.
Listen. Don't you hear? Who is that?
You hear all sorts of things up here. You know how cats cry in the city? There are bigger cats in the woods.
I'm the original city girl with a vengeance. I've never been up north in the winter. God, I feel like a city hick.
Oh, no, Sue. You'll come to love it here. Wait. You'll see.
I haven't got too much more coffee left in this thermos. Are you sure?
Coffee keeps me from sleeping.
Maybe I should
Well, you
try.
can't leave tonight. It's impossible. I mean, it gets very dark here, and it must be way below freezing. Up here at night. It's dangerous to be walking around.
Well, yeah, but where will I sleep? There's almost no furniture. Are there any...
No. My parents cleared the place years ago, and they've never been back. They never need much. There's a sleeping bag somewhere.
Oh, I can't take your sleeping bag off you.
Oh, you won't.
Oh. So, you come up every weekend?
I
Listen, if I stay, and I don't know, I gotta get...
Hey, you know what the subject is of my paper?
Tell me.
Aspects of sibling rivalry. Can you believe it? Hey, maybe you can help me. Be a test case. Did you have a big family?
One brother.
Well, that's the start of it all. How'd you get on with him?
I don't.
Sorry?
Something happened.
Yeah?
One summer, he was 7, younger than me. One summer we went swimming. That river's great. It's very clean, very clear water. It's deep, too.
You mean he...
He drowned.
I'm sorry. That's awful for you. Poor kid.
That's why my parents don't come up here anymore. Memories, you know?
My God.
It's just a little walkie toy. It's one of his. See how it rattles?
But did it have to fall on cue?
Well, I told you.
I know, drafts. Barry? It came right to me.
You're popular here.
It's nice and warm now. There's something about a fireplace.
Hypnotic,
Yeah. Hey, I got a treat for us in my bag. Guess what?
I couldn't possibly guess.
A joint.
What's that?
Are you kidding me?
No?
Where have you been for the last 10 years? Grass.
I told you I wasn't hungry.
You aren't joking. Is this for real?
I went to a boys' school. I didn't have much to do with...
Grass and girls. You sure you aren't a priest?
But I know about women.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Lady!
Have, you been alone here before? With a girl?
Yes, I have.
Well, that's nice.
I like the way you look now with the light on your face.
Thanks.
You're very beautiful.
Lady! Come play!
Barry, the crying thing. It's back.
It's getting hot, isn't it? Why don't you take your sweater off?
I'm fine, except for that. It's not an animal. It's saying words. Listen.
Lady, help me!
It's somebody's kid lost in the snow. Oh, for God's sake, let's go and look.
There's nothing there.
Help me! Stay with me!
Well, if you won't, then I will.
Don't.
Why?
Don't be silly.
You can't just leave a little kid out there in the snow.
Do you hear anything now?
No.
You sure the sound was human?
No.
Okay. There wasn't anything. It's you.
What?
You're hearing things. Noises that aren't there. The woods do that to people sometimes.
I don't know. Hey, watch it.
Can I hold your hand? Please?
Sure, I guess so. God, I don't know what I'm hearing and what I'm not.
Your hand is warm.
Look, Barry, I really like you, but I've had some bad scenes with guys, and I've only known you for a couple of hours.
I don't think time is what counts.
Oh, God, you're thin. Handsome. But you have to eat more. My mother'd make you wolf it down.
I've always been this way.
When we're back in the city, can I see you? Promise?
Your hair looks red now in the firelight.
You know, this place, it's like the old curiosity shop. Everything chimes or rattles or plays. But it is pretty.
What is?
The music. The music box.
It's not playing.
But I hear it. Don't you?
I don't hear anything.
You can't hear that?
You're squeezing my hand.
Where is it coming from? It stopped.
Good.
Are you playing games with me like that man in that movie Gaslight? Look, I'm getting out of here.
You mustn't go. You can't go. It isn't safe. So Sue, nothing can happen to you here. You're safe with me.
You're gonna tell me that's an animal. I know.
We have lots around here.
What animal does that?
I don't know. Maybe a fox?
It's no fox.
What can I do?
Well, stop it. Just stop it, please. Make it stop.
There. You see? See, you frightened him away.
Thank God. It was an animal. Oh, thank God.
I told you. Feeling better now?
Yeah.
Sue, there isn't anything to be afraid of. Not when you're with me.
You're very nice to me, Barry. Just think I'm a damn fool.
I don't think that. You know how I feel.
I'm getting tired. Maybe in the morning, before I go, I can help you give this place a cleaning.
There's no need.
I'm almost out on my feet.
I'll get you the sleeping bag.
Thanks. I won't say no.
Here we are. Going right next to the fire.
I'm gonna look funny all curled up in there.
You'll never look funny.
I feel kind of dizzy after all that. I don't know.
Forget it. It never happened. You're tired and upset because you got lost and missed your friends.
You really are an unusual guy. And so many men are so insensitive.
Can I lie down next to you?
All right. But, what I said before still holds. I need my sleep.
I know. I'm so glad you're here.
Are you here every weekend?
Mostly.
I haven't done a thing on that damn essay.
You could stay here forever. No more essays.
Wouldn't that be great?
I'm sorry. Shouldn't I have done that?
One kiss. It's all right. No more. Good night.
Sweet dreams. You out there. Quiet. I said quiet. That's better.
So cold. No fire. Barry? I'm freezing. Where are the logs? Barry? I need a match. Where the hell is it? Oh, there. Barry? He's not here. Barry, where are you? My God, the door's open. Barry, you bastard. You are playing games. You've got that music box out there. Where's my coat and boots? I'll find you out there, hiding behind a tree with your little toys. You wait till I get you. You'll wish you had seen a ghost. Barry? God, it's so cold. Where are you? You over there? Okay, you just wait till I get you. Where are you? This is no joke. I thought you liked me. Almost knocked me over. Where am I? If this is your idea of fun, then you are cruel. You hear me? Cruel. I've got snow all over me. So hard to see, it's blowing everywhere. Do you think you can scare me with your dinky music box? I hate that! Barry, I know you're here. Cut that out! This isn't happening. Oh, please, God. getting lost. Got to find him. The music. Where did it go?
Pretty lady. Racing to the river.
Who are you?
Please turn around. Look at me.
What do you want?
Come and play.
Wait, you're dressed for summer. Shorts and a jersey. You'll die out here. What are you pointing at?
The river. Come play in the river.
Poor little thing. Oh, come here. Let me warm you. Let me hold you. Oh, my God. You're drenched in water, but it's not freezing. I know what you are. You get away. For God's sake, get away.
She won't play with me. I have to play alone.
He just dissolved in the air. Barry! Barry! Barry!
Now what?
Oh, my God, I never heard you coming. I've seen him. I know who he is.
Know who?
Your brother. Your little brother.
My brother is dead.
Yes. I touched him. That's how I know he's dead.
So now you understand.
Why? Why didn't you tell me?
You better come back to the cottage. He can never come in so long as I'm there. So please don't go. See, I built the fire for you again.
How can I stay with that out there?
How can you go with that out there?
God have mercy.
I swear to you, Sue, he can't come in here so long as I'm in the cabin. I don't know why that's so, but it is.
But how can you come up here at all when it's haunted by your own brother?
He never bothers me. And you know,
Yeah?
he's so very lonely.
Maybe you are too.
Am I?
Yeah. But you seem to know more than you're saying.
About my brother, you mean? What am I supposed to know? There's lots of things I don't know.
But you want to know, don't you? What happened?
I was supposed to be watching him.
So now you still are.
Stay till morning, Sue, please. Then you can go. I'll take you out in the morning. You never see him by day. Please.
I'm still going to have to leave in the morning, okay?
Great. Everything will be fine now.
This is pretty...
I know. There. Let me... Do you mind?
You want to kiss me?
Please.
Your lips are cold.
Look at me.
Please. I'm at the end of my rope. The end, you know?
I'm very fond of you.
That's... What are you doing?
2 people can sleep in this bag.
You sure?
I am.
Okay. I guess it's one way of keeping warm.
There are different ways.
When does the sun come up?
A long time from now.
This is good. And it feels safe.
Feeling better?
Much better.
You must have a lot of boyfriends.
Oh, not really.
Oh, please. I like touching you. You're perfect.
That's real flattery, man.
I mean it.
I want to leave early. I should sleep.
Don't worry. Relax. You're safe here with me. Be with me.
Yes. Go and go in the morning.
dear, I don't know if I should wake her up. She looks so lovely sleeping there. Poor thing. She must have gotten lost out here. I wish Jack would hurry. Where is that man? Oh, dear. Be better once she gets some coffee into her. At least she had the sense to get the fire going.
What?
Morning. Who? Now, don't be frightened. I'm a friendly native.
What?
I've got some nice hot coffee in this thermos.
I don't know who you are.
Just take your time.
Where am I?
Well, you're not at home, I can tell you that.
But last night...
Got lost, eh? It happens. A girl like you all by herself. I know girls like to be independent today, but...
No. How did you...
Get in?
Yeah.
I used my key.
Key?
Yes. This is our cottage. My husband's out looking at the foundations.
He's gone.
He'll be here in a minute.
No, I mean the boy.
There's a boy, too.
Yes, I was here with a guy.
I see.
Who are you?
Oh, sorry. Burl Hefferman. My husband and I... Well, this is our cottage.
Oh, I see.
We're on a little skiing jaunt and thought we'd stop by and look in at the old place. Hasn't changed much.
Where's...
Who?
Barry. I was with Barry.
With whom?
Barry. Your son, Barry Hefferman.
I beg your pardon.
He was here with me all night.
Barry.
Is he outside?
It isn't funny.
I want to see him.
We don't have a son.
Then who was...
Our son Barry drowned, trying to save his brother, 15 years ago. Down there, in the river.
Tonight, a ghost story by Ambrose Bierce. Here is The Moonlit Road.
You haven't touched your tea, Mr. Stephen. Shall I warm it?
Don't fuss, Ellen. Please don't fuss.
Sherry, then.
No, I have it here.
Well, this pillow'll be more comfortable.
Oh, Ellen, stop. I'm not helpless. Yet. What you can do is close the terrace window. There's a draft again.
Oh, Mr. Stephen, but the window's closed. There's no draft, not from here.
Not open? But I feel... Oh, yes, well... Never mind, then.
It's a chill you have, Mr. Stephen. And I'm going to have Billy fetch Dr. Benson.
For God's sake, stop, Ellen. Stop it. Get Billy to stoke up the fire, and that's all. Now, let me alone.
Yes, sir.
No. Not a draft? Well, They'll have the house to themselves now, soon enough. As you can see, I am the most unfortunate of men. I am rich, I am respected and well educated, and until just recently of sound health. I'm the only child of Joel and Julia Hetman. My father was a well-to-do country gentleman. His wife, my mother, was a beautiful and obedient woman, to whom he was passionately attached with what I now can suspect was a jealous and exacting devotion. The details that I can relate hardly add up to a story. Indeed, they could fit together in any number of ways. I've imagined all sorts, with feelings so opposed that they've worn down finally to no feeling at all. Doesn't matter now. It ought never to have mattered. Briefly, then, I was a student at Yale. One day I received a telegram from my father of such urgency that in compliance with its unexplained demand, I left at once for home.
Father? Stephen. Stephen, this way. Stephen, it's terrible to have to tell you this way.
Well, tell me, for God's sake, what is it?
Your mother. It's your mother, Stephen.
What's happened? She's ill. Dying. Father, now what's happened?
She's dead, Stephen.
But how?
Murdered. Barbarously murdered.
Murdered? Why? By whom?
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know anything. I had gone to Nashville. I didn't expect to be back before the following afternoon. There was a complication, and I returned home the same night. It was late, nearly dawn. I found I had no latchkey. I didn't want to wake the servant, so I walked around to the back. I don't know why, the doors are always locked. But to my surprise, the back door was open. It was standing open, as if someone had just used it. I entered and went upstairs to your mother's room. In the darkness, I stumbled over her. I'll spare you the details, save to say that she was already dead. Strangulation.
But why? Was anything taken from the house?
Nothing. So far as we could see.
But what about the servants? Hadn't they heard any sound?
No, nothing.
And the assassin? Is there no trace of him?
Nothing. But those terrible finger marks on her throat. Dear God, that I may forget them.
I gave up my studies and remained with my father. He was greatly changed. He had always been of a sedate, taciturn disposition. Now he had fallen into so deep a dejection that nothing could hold his attention. Yet anything could arouse him to a fitful interest. A footfall, a sudden entrance. One might have called it an apprehension.
Hey, who's there? Who is it?
It's only me, Father.
Oh, come in. No, don't stand there in the dark that way.
Shall we take our walk this evening?
No, the garden's chilly, and I'm tired. I think I'll go to my room directly.
I worry about you, Father. I know that this whole thing has been terrible for you, but you've become too melancholy. Have you taken to sleepwalking as well?
Sleepwalking? Why?
Last night, didn't you enter my room? I heard steps along the hall, and then my door opened. Someone stood there in the doorway. I thought it was you, and I called out. When I turned on the light, you'd gone. Got to the door only soon enough to see your door closing down the hall. Wasn't it you, Father? Can you remember?
No. No, it wasn't me. It must have been your mother. She worries if you come in. Yes, I remember. She got up during the night and then came back. But she couldn't have. Stephen, what are you trying to do?
Do?
Isn't it bad enough for me now? Must you make things worse with your fantasies, your imagining?
Well, it might have been a servant.
It must have been Ellen. She's always doting over you.
Well, I only wondered that it... Well, if it wasn't you, it might have been...
What do you mean?
Well, I mean that the assassin might have returned, might still be in the house.
That's nonsense. Nonsense.
Why? He's never been found. He's still somewhere.
Yes, I suppose.
Father, have you told me everything that happened that night?
Of course. What else? Why do you ask?
Because it doesn't make sense. Mother was adored by everyone. She was the kindest woman who ever walked the earth. No sane creature could possibly want to hurt her.
Sane? Why do you say sane?
Father, did she have a lover?
Stephen.
Was that it? Is that who opened the back door that night you came back from Nashville? Are you hiding that from me to save her memory?
Oh, stop!
He might have done it. I could imagine that. Mother loved you. I know that. She was devoted to you. She'd never have been unfaithful. But she was kind to everyone. I can imagine his jealousy, his fury at her refusing him.
Stephen, stop this.
Well, what did happen?
She was murdered. Isn't that enough?
Enough? Yes. But is it enough for her? Is she still here in this house? Does she haunt us, searching for her lover or her murderer? Does she blame us, Father?
Stephen, let it alone. For God's sake, let it alone.
I never saw her, but I was convinced that her ghost walked the house. The terrible cold of the presence of the dead was everywhere. Perhaps he saw her. I could not. But there were moments at night.
Stephen. Oh, Stephen.
Mother?
Stephen.
The iciness of the grave. The smell of decay. No. I won't see you. I can't. But I imagined I saw her face hideous, white with hate, rotting. No! No, go away! I am not your assassin! I'm not your assassin! One night, a few months later, my father and I were returning home from our evening's walk. A full moon was high above the horizon, and the road, save for the black shadows of the bordering trees, was a ghostly white. As we approached the gate of our dwelling, my father suddenly stopped. He clutched my arm. Father, what's the matter?
There, what is that?
I see nothing, Father.
There, at the gate, directly ahead.
There's nothing, Father. Come on now, we better go in.
No.
You're ill.
No, go away. Oh, go away.
Father, what do you see?
No, Julia, no. No!
I tried to follow him, but for some reason couldn't move from the spot.
Go away!
A chill had touched my face.
Julia!
It was all about me.
Julia!
I couldn't turn my head.
No! No! Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
When I turned to look for my father, he was gone. And in all the years that have passed, no whisper of his fate has reached me. I remained here, my youth of brilliant parts and promise faded, its life blood drained, sifted into the darkness and the silence of this house. Voices seek me out, I hear them not, but only doubt, 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 and emptiness.
Drink up. Drink up. Tomorrow. Today, I suppose you'd say I was alive. Alive. And tomorrow, well, there's no tomorrow, no yesterday. There's nothing beyond that forest, those trees. That's all I can remember back to. Forest. 20 years ago, I came out of a forest, made my way across the country, all the way to this place. Well, that was something. That was something. I didn't even know my name. I called myself Casper. Casper. Everyone wants to know, what's your name? What's your name? In this world, everyone must have a name. It prevents confusion, even when it does not establish identity. Casper prevented confusion and spent 20 years trying to find a comfortable way to die. There's some small light, though, of a past. I don't believe it. I can't believe it. That's the only thing that seems like a recollection, even if it's wrong or confused. The only thing I have of that life. Two scenes that play over and over. First, there's a house, a big house, owned by a prosperous planter. And there's a woman, a beautiful woman, like a child. And a boy, their son. He's a vague figure, never clear, usually not there at all. The father loves the wife terribly, but he's tortured by a fear that she doesn't belong to him. He can't seem to believe her devotion, her love, And he's reduced to vulgar and commonplace ways of testing her. One day, he goes to the city. He tells her, I'll be gone till the next afternoon. But I come back. That night and go to a rear door that I had left unlocked. It's dark all around the house. But as I approach, I hear something. The door is open. And a figure. A man. I thought it was a man. I feared it was a man. Sometimes now I can't even believe it was human. He headed straight for me, then just disappeared in the dark. I didn't know where to chase him. So intensely did my jealousy and rage fill me, I didn't search. I rushed into the house and up the stairs to her room, and I pushed open her door. I saw the bed, vaguely, the covers tossed about. I went to it. Empty. She was gone. Escaped. Or hiding. I looked about in the darkness. I walked straight to a corner where she knelt against the wall. I could see her face, the terror in her eyes, the guilt. My hands were at her throat. I kneeled on her struggling body, and there in the darkness, I strangled her till she was dead. No, it never happened. I don't believe it. Oh, I was possessed by something or someone. But it's all I have. It's all that comes from me. And I go over it again and again. Now, there's another scene. Another dream. Another vision of the night. I stand among shadows along a moonlit road. Someone is with me. I cannot see who. But there's another presence. Ahead. Where the road ends at a gate. In the shadow of the large house. I catch the gleam of white garments. Then the figure of a woman before me on the road. My wife, Julia, murdered. Death in the face. Marks on the throat. Eyes fixed on mine with an infinite sadness. Sadness, not hate. Not menace, but the apparition terrifies me. Terrifies me. Still terrifies me. She still reaches out to me here. No. Drink up. Drink up. This does it. Wipes it out. Wipes it out. For a little while. For a little while.
Stephen. Stephen?
No! No, go away! I am not your assassin.
It's no use. And it only confuses me why he's so fearful. He doesn't see me. He never saw me. I can't imagine what he would see now. But fear has no sense at all. It's crazy. Just crazy. It makes horrible things out of those who want only kindness and some peace. I keep wandering among these scenes, these rooms, in search of something that just doesn't matter anymore, what really happened. No one seems to know. Joel's gone, and there's only Stephen left for a little while. Stephen's my son. He wasn't here at the time. He was away at college. Joel wasn't here either. He'd gone to Nashville on some business and was staying the night. I'd retired early and fallen into a peaceful sleep, but then I awoke. The house seemed more than usually quiet. I had a strange sense of danger, of something. Well, not that I was afraid of being alone. I was often alone, but this was different. There was a chill, as one waits for a thing long imagined or feared, and the feeling grew as I lay there. I felt as if I were lying straight and cold in my coffin. The white satin around my head, the smell of dried flowers, a little bouquet I held in my hand. I wanted to pull my fingers apart, but couldn't, as in a dream. No. I strained for some sign of life in me. And then... I could feel my heart pounding. It was a dream. I sat up in the dark and listened. My own heart was the only sound at first. I listened, and after a while I wondered if the beating came from inside me or somewhere else. I tried to hear which. And then, as if my own fears had decided, had reached out into the dark house and begun to assemble some figure, something. I heard it first on the stairway from the back entrance just below my room. A soft, irregular sound of footfalls on the stairs. It was slow, hesitant, uncertain, as of something that did not see its way. To my disordered reason, all the more terrifying for that, as the approach of some blind and mindless malevolence to which there is no appeal. I said that fear has no brains, it's an idiot. But this had a growing purpose, taking shape as it approached. It approached my door, and then stood there. I heard the breath. He hesitated, his hand on the door. Then it turned and went away, down the stairs, hurriedly. As if in sudden fear, I rose to call for help. But hardly had my shaking hand found the doorknob when I heard it returning. It ran up the stairs, shaking the house. I fled to a corner of the room and crouched on the floor. I tried to cry out. I tried to call Joel, my husband, but suddenly it was in the room, searching me out. Oh, it had gone to the bed and stopped there and turned and came directly to me. I felt a strangling clutch upon my throat. I beat feebly against something that bombed backward. A tongue thrust itself through And then I passed into this life. No, I have no knowledge of what it was. The sum of what we know at death is the measure of what we know afterwards. No new light falls upon any page of it. In memory is written all that we can read. We hide in the dark and peer out into the dim light of the present and the fading past. But there is one more scene. A night. We know when it is night, for then you retire to your houses, and we can venture from our places of concealment to move unafraid about our old home, to look in at the windows, even to enter rooms and gaze upon your faces as you sleep. I could see my husband Joel, then Stephen. How strange they looked, how lone. Had they loved me after all? They were saddened and aged by my departure. I tried so often to make them see me, some way to let them know I was here, and send them my great love and pity. But always if I dared approach or wake them in their sleep, they would turn toward me the terrible eyes of the living, frightening me. And I would hesitate, as if my hand was now upon the door, and turn away. On this night I had searched for them, but they were nowhere in the house. I looked about the moonlit lawn, and then moved in the white light along the path to the gate. Suddenly I saw them on the road. They had stopped walking and were looking toward the house. I heard their voices. They stood in the shadow of a group of trees. They stood near, so near.
Along the path.
Their faces were turned toward me. And Joel's eyes were fixed on mine. He saw me. At last he saw me. All my terror and hesitation was gone. He sees, he will understand. I moved forward, smiling and consciously beautiful, to offer myself to his arms, to comfort him, to speak words that would restore the broken bonds between the living and the dead. Joel.
No.
But his face went white with fear.
Julia? No
His
way.
eyes were those of a hunted animal.
No way. Leave me alone.
He backed away and ran.
No.
Ran right into the
woods. No. Oh.
He never returned. Maybe he died and wanders about some other place as I do here. And Stephen, poor Stephen, is left even more alone.
You haven't touched your teeth.
I've never been able to make him know that I'm here, watching him, longing to care for him as a mother should. But soon he too must pass to this life invisible and be lost to me.
What you can do,
Lost.
Chairs window, there's a draft.
Oh,
Lost.
Mr. Stephen, but the window's closed. There's no draft, not
That was The Moonlit Road by Ambrose Bierce. The part of Julia was played by Norma Jean Wanvik. Stefan was Martin Ponch. Ellen was played by Nancy Ponch. And Joel was played by your host of the Black Mass, Eric Bauersfeld. The technical production was by John Whiting. And now, good night.